Once upon a time, there was a woman who told tales for 1001 nights and saved lives with the power of her stories to keep Sheherazade's magic alive. Tonight, let's tell one more. This is The Guardian of the Sanctuary, Chapter 1, where the sanctuary begins. The wind sang through the snowy peaks like an ancient lullaby, brushing powdery snow from weathered stone as if nature itself were clearing a path. The sun began its slow climb above the horizon. Golden light spilled over the slopes, making the mountains sparkle as though brushed with stardust. And then a figure appeared. The wind led his way. It danced through the frozen canyon, curling around icy ridges and shimmering towers of frost, tugging eagerly at the traveler's cloak, like a child urging someone forward. The mountain ahead loomed, a cathedral carved by time. At its core, an archway gaped open, as if it could see who was coming. And just before the figure reached it, the wind calmed, holding its breath. The figure stepped inside. The world outside faded away. Inside the cave, dark shadows covered ancient walls, but a faint, pulsing glow lit the heart of the cavern. An old woman sat in silent meditation, her silver hair cascading over her shoulders, touched by silver light that came from nowhere and everywhere at once. This was Mulan, the one who saw that others could not, the one who waited when the world rushed past. Now she sat in perfect stillness, as though listening to the breath of something older than stars. Her lips moved, breaking the silence not with a whisper, but a voice that echoed across time. All the colors of the magics shall merge into a single beam of pure light. The mightiest mage shall rouse the world in a monumental awakening. He will kindle the breath of life within all hearts, mirrored by the white strands igniting amidst his black hair. This destiny is imminent. The air stilled as her eyes opened, slowly, like a veil lifting. She stared into the empty air as if searching for the manifestation of her foresight, and then she saw the man in front of her, the fate itself kneeling patiently at her feet. He pulled back his hood, and there he was. Irinar, black hair streaked with white, like lightning across a midnight sky, a quiet strength in his eyes, a touch of mischief in the curve of his mouth, and one eyebrow slightly raised, as if he were in on a secret the rest of the world hadn't caught up to yet. "Mother," he said with voice deep and warm, "it has already happened." Mulan blinked once, then twice. You are the most powerful mage," she asked, utterly scandalized. He didn't say a word at first, just offered a faint smile, one corner of his mouth lifting, the glint in his eyes making it impossible to tell whether he was amused or not. "I don't know," he said at last. "I have a serious competitor now." Noticing Mulan's worried look, he added, "You should really see your grandchild." Far beyond the frozen peaks, the sanctuary thrived. It bloomed like a dream, shaped from light. Trees hummed with life, birds wove melodies through the air. It felt more than real. It felt sacred. Mulan stood at the edge of this oasis, speechless with awe. Just ahead, a toddler with berry juice smeared across his cheeks charged towards a large bear like it was his best friend, or a very soft mountain. Will, age 2, was wild and radiant. His dark curls tousled from wind and mischief. A baby deer trotted beside him like an overenthusiastic assistant, eager to be helpful but not entirely sure how. A small bird, on the other hand, seemed to know exactly what to do, fluttering just above Will and chirping urgently as it tried to fix his hair mid-sprint. Will dropped to his knees in front of the bear, holding out a squished berry. "One for me," he said solemnly, popping it into his mouth. "One for you." The bear accepted it calmly, as if he had done this before. The deer leaned in. "One for me, one for you." Then came the fox. Will blinked at it, thoughtful. "One for me, one for you," he said uncertainly. He gently placed the berry on top of the fox's nose, where it wobbled slightly but stayed balanced. The fox froze, eyes crossed, balancing the berry like it had been ordered to perform a trick for royalty. The bear and deer stared at the berry as if it was the last one in the whole world, their tongues slowly peeking out in anticipation. The fox didn't dare move. And then, whoosh! The bird swooped down and snatched the berry right off the fox's nose. Everyone blinked. Will let out a betrayed little gasp. But the bird looked back, chirped a short apology, and dropped the berry back into Will's waiting hands, like a winged prankster making amends. Not far behind Will, watching it all with a smile she couldn't quite hide, stood a woman. Gentle, grounded, radiant. Mila. Mulan's eyes softened, widened, filled with tears. "All my life, our life, has been about mere survival," she whispered, eyes sweeping over the blossoms and laughter, the beauty and the peace. "And this is like stepping into a living fairy tale." "Thank you," said Mila modestly. "The sanctuary was very different when we first found it." Enoch stepped in, folding his arms proudly. "We rebuilt it from dead, eroded land for our son." Mulan turned slowly toward him. Her voice was reverent now. "So, this truly is the sanctuary, the one the prophecy speaks of, the place that will harmonize the world." Mila gently scooped Will into her arms. He snuggled in, face still streaking with berry juice. "We don't know all the potential of the sanctuary yet," Mila admitted, "nor how it will balance the world. The secret lies with the guardian." Everyone looked at Will. The berry-faced guardian of the sanctuary blinked once and sneezed, as if confirming this statement, and the wind outside the trees momentarily changed direction. Mulan exhaled slowly, her eyes shimmering. Mila, I remember when you were just a little girl, the sweetest little girl. You'd ride out to your uncle before a battle and hand him a belt you made to protect him. She smiled faintly at the memory. And you'd give flowers to raging enemies, hoping they'd cry and leave. Soft laugh passed between them, and then Mulan looked at both Mila and Nirinar. I remember all of it. I even remember glimpses of your future. Her voice quieted. But even with all my powers of foresight, I never imagined you two married. Irinar cleared his throat. Yeah, about that. We're not married. Mulan blinked. Again. Mila smiled a little too brightly. I'm still engaged to someone else. Mulan gaped. Well, in a way, Mila added, we just can't break it officially. The superstitions in his homeland are intense. To end the engagement would come at a cost. According to their elders, Irinar muttered, it requires at least one goat sacrifice. At least two, Mila confirmed. And after that, rabid vampire bats are said to still invade his kingdom for 7 years. A long pause. Mulan pinched the bridge of her nose, clearly unprepared for this particular kind of chaos. So, how long do you plan to stay engaged? Everyone calmed. Will Michu suddenly coughed. A tiny dramatic choke on a berry. In the momentary silence that followed, even birds stopped singing. Then Will, utterly unfazed, turned to a nearby goat and continued his ceremony. One berry for him, one for the goat, as if the world depended on the balance. The goat let out a delighted baa. A bird chirped, then another. And just like that, the sanctuary came back to life. Laughter and song spilling through the air like it had only been waiting for his cue. The guardian, without question, held the key to the sanctuary's joy. This was Chapter 1. Dream well, wherever the magic finds you.